So somebody asked me the other day, how do you build a pup tent? And I'm like, just looking. Well, why don't you just look on YouTube or something? And wait, let me back up for a second. So the other day, I was with a friend at a store and we were looking at tents, right? And he asked me, what's a pup tent? And then he asked how to assemble it. He showed me a video online, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, so he wanted to know how a pup tent worked. So I had one because I use it for my hiking. And I told him that a nice pup tent would be one that fits nicely in your backpack when you're going hiking. Like this one here. It's very low, it's very small, it's very compact. Let me set my bag down. It's very small, it's very compact. And that's very nice to have. And it's light-ish. But I'm going to assemble a pup tent and I'm going to show you how it looks on the inside. Currently, the wind is blowing at a 10 miles an hour according to the thing on the top of the house. And it is 98 degrees. So, not the most ideal day to do anything, but whatever. So, most pup tents, like I've seen reviews of people do pup tents with the Tech Sport or the Sanford, and they're pretty basic. You basically just have 6 poles, a little bit of these tent pegs, whatever the heck they're called, the bag, and then you have the actual tent itself. Thus, it's very nice, it's very convenient, and it's very easy to set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this pup tent. Now, I've never used a Stanford or a Tech Sport pup tent. I have had an Army surplus one, but I've never used those two because I've always had this one. And these are like your scout tents, you know, your Boy Scout tents. Very easy to open, very easy to do things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this older one. Besides the board. Okay. Make sure it's in frame. I gotta go grab a steak, so I'll be back. So depending on the direction of the wind, I kind of like to have heavier steaks. Like I went to Walmart, bought these for 38 cents a piece. They're a little heavier duty than the ones that come with the tent. A little wider and thicker. But one of the things that I see people do is try and assemble these pup tents when the stakes are not in the ground. And that is very difficult. I mean, where's my hammer? Oh, there it is. That's very difficult. And one of the things about these pup tents is you have to have it staked in the ground before you assemble it. And yeah, I recommend you use a mallet because this might break my tent stake, or at least break the corrosion rust type thing. So, there we go. I got one in. So I kind of like to do the front first and work my way back. And as I'm tenting in these stakes or staking down my tent, I want to make sure it's not too tight, but relatively tight. I'm not fancy with the camera, so I don't know how to do that fast motion type thing. And I always got some extra twine with me. Work my way in the back. Depending on the size of your pup tent or your triangle A-frame tent, it depends on how easy it will be to put up. So, give me a minute. Kind of got to hammer these down. And these should be really easy to put together. I mean, but what I meant by these are nice to take on the trail is they really are nice to take on the trail. So, if you see here, I gotta sit down for a second, I'm getting lightheaded. So if you see here, I kind of had a miss problem with one of these, so I kind of had to take another tent piece off another tent and bend it in to make it fit this one. And I use this one mostly in the back of the tent, just because it seems to work there much better. And I recommend rubber banding these instead of just doing what I do and tossing them in the bag. So what I like to do is before I stick them into the tent hole, the top thing, the hole on the top, I like to just tie it at the top here because it's going to be held down like this. So I like to just take it, make a knot like that. So when I go to the back, I can easily take my tent post, which is falling apart. I know you can't see it, so you'll see it in the front. I do the same thing to the front, but pretty roomy, like your Boy Scout or Girl Scout camp, more or less. There we go. I do the same thing for the front pegs. I should be doing this under a shady tree, but no biggie. I'm starting to sweat a lot. Dang it, the wrong one. So I kind of custom fabricated these parts, a few of these parts. So I mean, nothing big. All I got to do, take this thing, since I know where it goes, put it in the correct side, put it up like so, and rehammer it down. This should not take more than probably 10-20 minutes. Despite my error, I haven't built this tent in a while. I've always used those, I've been using that Coleman Sunny Sun Dome tent because it's easier to put up and down in this heat. And then I pull this side up, pull this up, tuck this down, pull this, pull my little elastic here, pull my elastic here, and then what you do is you pull these side pieces and you just stake them down, which I'm not gonna do because I gotta pack this thing back up and I don't want to do that in this heat. But you get the idea. It's a pup tent. It looks like that. And then to disassemble, you do the same exact thing you did to assemble it. You pull all the stakes out. Make sure you do one side at a time. Undo this knot so you can reuse this. Go. Do the same thing for the back. There we go. becoming filled with hot air, much like my head. Nope, it's 98 degrees now. And then what you do, you just pull these tent stakes out, the ones that are holding it down. But I found a good method on packing up your tent is a lot of people just try and fold it up. A good method would be to take your tent bag, measure, and then fold it. Fold it over. Oh, that got hot fast. And it should be like 2 or 3 folds for this tent. I'm not complaining about the heat. I'm simply whimpering. And it should be like 2 or 3 folds. And then what you usually do over here is, since I already measured and I don't have to reopen it again, I can fold it in, fold it up as it is.